and welcome to EBADay 2019 in Stockholm. I'm Hannah Wallace, and kindly joining me now in the TV studio is John Hunter from J.P. Morgan. Hello, John. Thank you very much for joining us.
My pleasure. Really happy to be here.
Wonderful. And the first thing I want to talk to you about is this buzz around the payments landscape. A lot of people are saying it's the battlefield for business. Could you tell us what's sort of creating this buzz? I mean, what's the hype all about?
Yeah, you know, the payments business is really exciting. I think we saw coming out of the financial crisis that these payments businesses are just long-standing residual revenue, businesses that keep printing revenue week after week, month after month, year after year. And even through different financial and economic cycles, this transaction services business is really, really solid. And so I think the senior executives have now begun to pick up on the fact that this is a really important business. That coupled with the fact that the landscape is changing, right? That we have new fintech providers that have come in, we have new threats, new competition that's come in the space. I think all of that has kind of bubbled up to this kind of battlefield landscape.
Walking around the EBADay floor, people are going to be talking about certain trends. Which developments are you finding the most exciting today?
Well, we're absolutely focused on the fact that the payments business is going to evolve over time, and that there's opportunities for us everywhere. Whether it's moving from high value to low value channels, whether it's to making payments better, faster, cheaper for our clients, these types of messages, these types of opportunities are going to be available. And so when you think about EBADay, you think about all the clients and vendors that are here, the opportunity to go and to source and have dialogue is super important. And so we look at distributed ledger as a technology we think is still really valuable. I know it's been through a lot of hype in the hype cycle, right? But there's still a lot of value there. We look at APIs, we look at all kinds of the new emerging technology around machine learning and artificial intelligence. And we think all of that is applicable to the space of payments.
Sure. Well, coming back to the blockchain then, now I understand J.P. Morgan has got their Interbank Information Network, which is the firm's first peer-to-peer scalable network powered by blockchain. So can you tell me what's this designed for, and how else can it be used, and also what's next in this space?
Sure. Well, the Interbank Information Network, and we call it IN, just because it's easier to say,
sure.
right? IN has been focused on how can we make payments more frictionless? How can we take the pain points that currently exist? We realize that correspondent banking actually is very efficient until it's not, right? When things fall off, they go really bad, but other than that, most of the payments process efficiently and timely. And when we recognized that, we said, gosh, could we use distributed ledger in a different way? Instead of doing clearing and settlement over distributed ledger, could we use it to share information across banks to reduce this friction that exists? The example that we use is our first use case was around sanction screening. If a payment stops and you can't tell if it's the good John Hunter or the bad John Hunter, right? Today, that process of resolving that payment could take 2 to 16 days. And we've seen with the Interbank Information Network that we're able to resolve that payment in about an hour and a half. Right, so it's taking these types of delays and this latency that exists in the current network and being able to reduce it. That's really what we're focused on here.
And I think the mentality has really changed between banks. They're not sort of isolated. We're seeing a lot more collaboration. Can you tell me why that's so important for a bank?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, collaboration is going to be the future of this payment space. No one bank can do it all by themselves. We don't have all the reach. No one even network is going to have all the reach. So working together and creating this kind of connective tissue between banks, between market infrastructures, between fintechs, to be able to have a holistic, ubiquitous solution is really going to be where the focus is of the future.
Sure. And there's one thing I just want to add on. Talking about all this collaboration, do you see all these banks sort of coexisting in the future in harmony, as it were?
I do. I think, if we think about banking in the future, the payments business is a high fixed cost business, right? We're all building the same infrastructures, right? And we all have lots of expense that we build, and then each person tries to fill their factory, right? And that's similar to kind of what we used to see in the data center space, right? Where everyone stood up their own data center, had their own big fixed costs. And what happened is someone like AWS came in and said, gosh, I can do this and I can give it to you at a fraction of the cost that it takes today. I see that happening in the payment space. I think we're going to have to be providers of service and buyers of service to be able to get our costs down to where we want and to kind of revolutionize the future of payments. And so banks that have scale will be providers. Banks that don't have scale will say, gosh, it's too expensive for me to do this by myself. Let me go out and find who is the best and who can I buy services from. And we think platforms like the Interbank Information Network, like other networks that are being stood up, actually become the platform and the vehicles to deliver these types of services across the institution. So that will drive enhanced collaboration.
Interesting. So watch this space, I think it's safe to say.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Fantastic. Well, John, thank you very much for your insights. I'll let you get back out there.
My pleasure. Thanks so much.